What up, guys? So today, as promised, we're going to continue down the Parker Provisions line. Basically, it's a new brand established here in California last year. So yesterday we looked at their firm hold, and so today we'll be looking at their medium hold. What we found out of the firm hold was basically a water-based pomade with some clay in it, so it really allows you to optimize kind of that strength you were provided with in order to get some good volume. And so today with the medium hold, we're expecting something similar but kind of dialed down, even more relaxing. And relatively though, the firm hold was already a very lightweight, clean, kind of refined product, so we're kind of, you can only get so clean, you know. So I'm trying to wonder what this one is going to offer, if that one already kind of fits the bill of a very balanced pomade. But let's go ahead and start off by looking at the jar. Alright fam, so this is the jar. Basically branding on the jar is identical to the other firm hold, but the lid of course is different color scheme, once again also directly printed on, which makes it look way better. It makes the color pop so much more. Yeah, medium hold. The scent this time is pine wood, Parker Provisions, the branding, but of course different jar, different product, different ingredients, and I believe same directions as before. Barcode. Basically, what I mentioned before, it's also in a very nice clear glass jar. This is a 2-ounce glass jar, so it's more in line with Baxter California and other like higher end products in regards to the sizing, but they're a little more honest with the jar, where like Baxter California uses a super thick jar to try to like really trick you into thinking there's a lot more product. This one's a little more honest. So opening it up, even though you actually can't see through the jar a bit, you can get a better view of the product. It definitely has a glisten to it, which the other product did not. So we're gonna kind of dial in on that. But it's also, you can't really see any sort of like speckles of any kind, and it seems to be a lot smoother. So already visually we can't see the difference. All right, let's use it. Specifically with the Parker Provision products, kind of the scent doesn't really come out until you start styling it. That's what I noticed, at least with the firm hold. So we'll talk through it as we style it, or as we kind of apply it and whatnot. So scooping it out, it's definitely even more creamy and lotion-like than the firm hold. If you can just look at that, like that is straight up like what you imagine a thick lotion to be. And that's probably one of my favorite things out of the firm hold, is that it provides like a good amount of hold, great volume, but it's also super easy to apply, and that's a big thing for me. But anyways, also super easy to smear in your hands. And you can, so the pine wood, so typically with a pine scented like pomade, you expect that kind of that pine needle, kind of herbal bite to it. It has a very distinct, unique spice to it that really makes it stand out. And also similarly with the firm hold yesterday, the cedar wood also has another like herbal spice. Two woods that have this kind of like really, honestly the way I describe it is like a really spicy scent. But this one, it isn't spicy in any way. It's definitely more of like a smooth, almost limey, citrusy type of scent. You can kind of get the hint of like pine, as in like a pine in a very like damp, foggy morning, like that type of feeling. But for the most part, it's very much like a fresh forest or fresh pine cone like type of scent. So kind of think pine with the spiciness kind of removed. So something a lot smoother, still obviously very pleasant, but smooth and light. So definitely something I'll acknowledge out of the Parker Provisions line. The scent is very on the light side, it's very smooth and light. So if you prefer to use like a cologne in combination with this thing, it'll definitely work. So I've been taking a bunch of small little scoops, just going minimally at a time. And this should be the last scoop that I need. And still, just like any other product, we'll go ahead and just comb it through, making sure that we applied it evenly. So combing it through, you can really see how easy it is to work with, and also the scent is really starting to come through now. Not in regards to strength, but I'm starting to get all the different aspects of it, and overall, it's actually very like pleasant, very masculine, very complex. So I actually really like the scent. I wish they made it a little more prominent, just a little more, just because of how like the aroma is right now. It's not exactly pine wood in the way I thought or expected, but I'll admit that it's actually a very nice scent. But anyways, let's get into the styling. So the amount of volume I'm getting right now is spectacular and also very surprising, because while styling, it felt like a light hold pomade. I mean, to be honest, within our spectrum of products and kind of in comparison to what we typically see, like this would fall more along the lines of a light hold like pomade. But the amount of volume that I get out of it is like very surprising in comparison to the amount of hold it provides. It's just really impressive. But of course, like what I'm typically seeing is like my Pomp, while it forms like the volume, it begins to fan out, and so that's kind of just due to my length of hair and also balancing that length of hair with a product that provides enough hold. So in order to like kind of accommodate that, what I can do is basically texture up the sides in order to get a little more coarseness together and also help it really still form that kind of curve towards the middle. Anyways, overall, like the control is also very good, very intuitive to use. The light hold is something that prefers to be used with more like kind of experienced hands. It does require like a little more skill to use a lighter hold product, so I'll have to admit that, but definitely still workable, overall even cleaner than the firm hold. So kind of going down the list again, consistency like a thick lotion, very nice. Application, super easy. The scent really comes through later onwards, and it's a lot more complex, a lot more cologne and masculine than the firm hold. Slickness or a kind of texturing effect. The slickness is definitely more of like a dry pastiness, but it's not as sticky as the firm hold. It's definitely a lot kind of more airy, and there is no grittiness to this product despite there being a much more fine clay here. So you do get that kind of drying effect in order to kind of get the volume, but in a way it's not the same manner as the firm hold. Strength, I would put this more like a light, medium light maybe, if you can argue that, but the volume really comes out somehow and allows you to really style it. So anyways though, go throughout the whole day now, and we'll come back in a few hours and we'll talk about its endurance, what it's like restyling it and whatnot. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap up this review. So, I mean, as I expected, the Pomp basically fell apart. I mean, it is a light hold product. It is very comfortable, very refined, very, like, just super clean. But when we kind of have those characteristics, you can't really expect it to really hold on or be super resilient, because at the same time that it is not resilient, it is super clean, easy to work with, and still has this nice kind of just airy textureness that just, despite it messing up, it still looks like relatively nice, has its own unique aesthetic to it, kind of just still holds on to that texture and remains clean. You can also rework it with a comb, but you lose some of that volume that you once had before. So I would say the resilience, you basically, once you hit about like 2 or 3 hours into the day, you can really expect the things to kind of start swinging and swaying, falling to the side, and then restyling it, you'll lose approximately like, probably you'll lose 40-50% of the volume, and what you really get is just a nice like loose slick back, something that you can just kind of texture and keep back. It won't fall on your face, which is nice, and so this is something that is very ideal for, say, gym settings, hike settings, something where you need to come to terms that your hair is going to get messed up, and you just don't want it to get messed up in a way where like when it falls on your face, it gets like it leaves some sort of gunk all over your face and it feels really dirty and nasty or something like that. So kind of overall greasiness, not at all. Dryness, not at all. It actually does become it acts even cleaner than the firm hold, so super relaxing, super easy, and like kind of just a pleasure to have in your hair. And washing it out, just add water, rinses out very easily. But yeah, so overall, that is what I think of Parker Provisions. Between the two, I would personally pick the firm hold just because I do have a longer length hair. If I had a shorter length hair and also didn't style something that needed as much volume, then I would actually prefer the medium hold just because it's super clean, easy to use, don't need to think or even worry about it being nasty, and just as long as you're really comfortable with your hair being kind of itself having a little more character rather than kind of just being just cropped and basically formed into like a perfect shape that doesn't move at all. So if flexibility is your thing, if you have a little shorter hair and your style doesn't need as much volume, then the medium hold is a better fit. But yeah, so hope you guys have something out of this review. Other than that, take care, and we'll see you guys next weekend.